Hello and welcome to another episode of the Video Creator Show. I am Grant here with Augie, my awesome co-host, and today we have a very interesting topic that I think will be relevant to a lot of our listeners. And the question here today is, does YouTube discriminate against smaller channels? Obviously, it can be discouraging to feel like a platform is discriminating against you, like they aren't going to promote your videos as much as, say, somebody who is more established. This is an important topic. I think this is something that most people need to overcome, at least in their heads, and we are going to be diving into that today. And here we are. Today, does YouTube discriminate against smaller channels? The answer is yes. Yes, it does. Now, this isn't a death sentence or anything. It doesn't mean that if you're a smaller channel, you can never take off. It just means that, yes, you will have a harder time blowing up than somebody who has, 50, 100,000 or more subscribers. And there's a lot of reasons for this, which we're going to go into. The main one, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is YouTube is kind of a paranoid platform. Like they, as a company, there was the whole adpocalypse in 2017. And I think what YouTube is doing, like the reason it's harder to be a smaller channel today than it was back in 2010 is because there's a lot of people posting content, right? Anybody from anywhere can post anything, and YouTube can't necessarily filter it all out. So I think what YouTube is afraid of is some tiny channel making some horrible, just offensive or hateful video and it going viral. I think, in my opinion, this is a fear that's kind of built into the platform where they are essentially trying to filter out bad people by making it hard to get big until you gain a following. That's just my opinion. They're trying to filter people out. Is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing? I mean, it's frustrating, I think, if you're a smaller channel. But I think a lot of this is predicated on a certain amount of paranoia. Another thing, going beyond the paranoia, is just the kind of hard numbers here, right? If you have 0 subscribers, you're not going to get any momentum from an audience, right? So if you have 1,000 subscribers and 100 people watch your new video because they're already subscribed to you, then that builds momentum for the video, right? And that's going to make it more likely to take off in the algorithm. So there's kind of two sides to this. There's the hard numbers, and then there's the, I think, more hidden truth here where YouTube is kind of paranoid. Do you agree or disagree with any of this, Augie?
Yeah, I agree that it's harder for new channels or small channels to gain that kind of traction. I mean, that's a blanket statement, though. Like, there are outliers, right? And I see it happen often. Like, we've talked about it before, right? Like the girl with the snake in the van, right? She was a small YouTuber, and then she created a video that kind of feels like it just kind of checked all the boxes on what YouTube wants, and boom, she blew up. She became a big YouTuber overnight. But I would agree with you. In overall, it is hard. It is hard. And I think there's a lot of different reasons. We'll talk about them throughout the episode. But, one of the things I think is that YouTube is looking for you to actually prove that you're going to be an actual creator, meaning you're actually going to create videos for the long term. And that's why I think it seems like so many small creators will upload like 300 videos and finally get to 1,000 subscribers, right? Or 2,000 subscribers off 300 videos. But by the time they get to 400 videos, they had exponential growth, and now they're already at 200,000 subscribers, right? And I think, and this would be an algorithm thing, right? Anytime we're talking about, does YouTube discriminate against smaller channels? Well, it's the algorithm that they are designing that's doing the discriminating. So my question is there something in the algorithm that's like activated after you have 100 uploads, 200 uploads, or why that happens to where it takes you 300 to get to 1,000, but then only 400 total to get to like 200,000 or something like that? And have you seen that before?
So YouTube is very secretive about their algorithm. I don't know if it's a number of uploads that triggers whether or not you're more likely to get promoted. I think it's more just the overall size and health of your channel. You know, how many total views do you have? How many subscribers do you have? How many people regularly watch your videos relative to how many subscribers you have? So I always think of it as more of a view to subscriber ratio. So if you have 1,000 subscribers and all of your videos have 1,000 views, that's actually a very healthy channel relative to its size. So I think if your view to subscriber ratio is really good, then the algorithm is more likely to get triggered and promote your videos. I think with what you described, the kind of exponential growth, I think more what's happening with that is you know, when we first start making videos, like your first couple videos that you put that you press upload on, they're probably not going to be very good unless you have a background in film and you really know what you're doing. And then even then, your style might not be that compatible with YouTube. Basically, you're going to get better over time. And if you upload 300 videos, your 300th video is going to be so much better than your first video. And that's just going to make your watch time better. It's going to make your audience retention better. You're probably going to have better thumbnails on that video. And finally, that video is going to go viral. And then, or just get way more attention than your average video. People are going to see that video. They're going to wonder what else you've made. And then they're going to kind of spill into your backlog, right? Which in turn is going to up the watch time and health of your channel overall. So I think, again, it's more view to sub ratio and also kind of more qualitative things like how good are your videos actually.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. You know, just to kind of jump on another little tangent, I did finally upload a video onto YouTube, onto my personal brand channel, Augie Johnston. And it's a small channel. It's 425 subscribers. And I released it, I think, Monday or Tuesday of this week. It's now Thursday. And I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the small channel. I'm mad at the algorithm right now. I felt like it was a good video. I felt like good title. The actual title of the video is how to start $1 million online business in 7 days or less. So very clickbaity. My thumbnail is me standing with a phone with the number 4 on it with a bunch of money. I mean, maybe not the greatest thumbnail. Maybe I should switch it out. I like it, but you know, I've gotten 326 impressions so far, which is not a lot. I'm getting 5.2% click-through rate, which is a little, it's decent. I would say a little bit low. I was hoping for a little bit better, but it's not too bad. It's decent, like you said. And I've gotten 20 views, right? So I'm just like, hey, YouTube, how can I get some more impressions, man? I promise people will click on this. Look at the title. The video, I think, is decent. I think the video is good. I mean, it's like tons of stock footage. It's a talking head video, but tons of full title text, all the stuff we kind of talk on here. A lot of text animations and crop ins. And it's just like a typical talking head edit, like a good edit. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm going through it right now and I'm curious why my watch time or my view duration is about 3 minutes on a 12-minute video. So a little bit low, maybe. That's part of the reason, maybe. But yeah, so anyways, as a small YouTuber myself, I'm definitely feeling the hate. Although it's not hate, it's just, you know, I got to make a better video next time. That's all.
Yeah, and generally I recommend launching a channel with more than one video. I think if you had released like 3 or 5 videos at once, you may have seen more success. It's always hard to say. But in general, like if there's one person that ends up loving what you're putting out, so those 20 views you have, if like 1 or 2 people were like, oh man, this guy gets it, and they watched all of the other videos you had uploaded, I think that would have made your channel look better to YouTube. So in this sense, like your channel is almost as small as it can be. It only has 1 video, right?
Well, actually, no. There's more than 1 video. There's a bunch on. There's maybe 20 at maximum on just like old ones from years ago, though.
Oh, okay. I mean, are they like very different styles, or is it kind of the same type of thing?
It's pretty similar. It's, how to grow on YouTube, how to create videos, some camera tricks, stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, they're old. So, it's 20 views. So but I agree with you. If one person would have clicked through and done a little bit of a binge session, or maybe a couple right out of the 20, then YouTube probably would have promoted it, gave me more impressions at least. But they are giving me some browse. I'm looking at my traffic sources. I'm getting some browse. Let's see. 61% of the viewers came from browse. 14% came from YouTube search. But yeah, just not, it just didn't take off. But I will say the week before I posted a short. It was one of the first shorts that I've posted on my channel. And I got, short views are totally different. It's not the same game, but it did get promoted out. I got about 1,100 views on a short. So yeah, I felt like the algorithm did kind of help me out there.
Hey there. You probably know the Video Creator Show is brought to you by VidChops.com. What is VidChops.com? Well, it is an editing service that will take the horrible burden of editing off your back. We all know video editing. It's tedious. It takes forever. But what if you had a professional who did it for you? You go to sleep, you wake up, it's done. Wouldn't that be magical? VidChops.com. Hire a professional, save yourself time and energy, and take your YouTube channel to the next level. For sure. And that was one thing I wanted to bring up. So as far as feeling the hate, or whatever you want to call it, as a smaller channel, YouTube not promoting your videos as much, one way you can get around this is by posting shorts. So you said you got 1,100 views on that versus 20 on your long form video. I mean, that's a huge difference, right? And if people are watching your shorts, they're going to be more likely to get recommended your long form content. So I think that was a good move on your part. I feel like, you have all the right ingredients here. I think it's just a matter of continuing to make these videos. And it sounds like the watch time on the new video you made wasn't amazing. And I think that's just a matter of making more and kind of refining the style there. But yeah, as far as practical advice here, making shorts is a great way for getting your channel discovered. And people get used to your face, especially if your shorts are in the same kind of style as your long form. Obviously, they're shorts, so they can only be a minute. But if they kind of have the same vibe, then I think people are going to look for that in your long form content too. Like, this is something I always recommend to my clients, because I'll see some people, they have their long form content is them just sort of talking into a microphone, and they don't have their face shown. They just kind of have clips and stuff. And the audio is very high quality. And then they'll post a short where like it's just them with their phone, with their face talking, and like that's okay, but it's so different than what people are going to see with your long form content that's not going to be helpful. So you essentially want to have your short be a kind of taste of your long form content versus something that feels totally different. And that's going to help you get around this kind of smaller channel discrimination.
Yeah, that's great tips right down. And since we're talking about shorts right now, I'll tell you a little bit about the strategy that I'm going to be using with shorts and stuff. And one of the reasons why I think this short took off is because here's kind of the strategy, right? We record this podcast once a week. It's long form. I take it, I cut it up and edit it a bunch to make some shorts out of it. And I make as many as I can. I also starting to release these long form YouTube videos. I also will take those and create shorts out of those or short form content. Then every day I've been releasing a new short form video on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, right? Every day. And most of them, some of them do okay. Like on my TikTok, I'm getting like, I have like maybe 50 followers. These are all brand new accounts for my personal brand. I have maybe 50 followers on TikTok, and I'm getting like 200 views, 250 on these, it's TikTok. I take it for, with a grain of salt or whatever. And same with Instagram, some of them are, 50 views, 200, 200, 200, but every now and then, and this specific one, it went viral on TikTok or on Instagram. Sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for what short is going to actually go viral on these other platforms before I ever upload it to YouTube. So the one on Instagram, it got, I think 12,000 views in about a week. And that's an Instagram reel. And so what I did is I said, okay, ding, ding, there's a winner. That one I'm going to take and I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel. That's the one that I uploaded to my YouTube channel. And that's the one that got 1.1 thousand views on YouTube. And the other two shorts that I've uploaded on YouTube, one was like 80, the other one was like 25. And I would argue that those were actually better because those ones I actually recorded. I took out my mirrorless camera, I flipped it sideways vertically. I actually wrote a script for those. And I thought I created what was a good video with some pretty good editing. But the video that actually did take off on YouTube, the short, it was from one of these podcasts. But it had already proven itself on Instagram with the Instagram algorithm that it was viral or a good topic. And the video is called My First Viral Video. It was just something we were talking about on the pod one day. And I think that's a great strategy. It's working so far. I guess I'll have to update in another month or so. But basically what I'm doing is just being selective on what I upload as a YouTube short.
So you're essentially using other social media platforms as a filtration mechanism so you can really hone in on what works on YouTube. Is that because you see YouTube as a better platform to monetize on? Like you seem like you're being more conscious of what you upload to YouTube versus these other platforms.
Yeah, that's kind of the strategy for right now. I don't know if that's 100% correct. We'll see as I continue to test this. But I mean, the better strategy might be just to upload everything onto YouTube. But I feel like there's a part on YouTube and with the algorithm to where uploading stuff that people don't like can actually hurt you, right? We're talking about your overall watch time or your average view duration on your entire channel. If everything that you're uploading, if you're just spewing tons of videos and your average view duration is just getting lower and lower and lower on your channel, I feel like it could hurt your channel. So that's why I'm being selective.
Totally. And that was one thing I wanted to touch on with this is what you said about if your average view duration is not very good and you're releasing all these videos that, they have like a 10% audience retention or something, that's not going to help you. So if you're a smaller channel and you're making a ton of videos and you feel like you deserve more views, make sure you're actually checking your audience retention, because if your audience retention is like 10% for a 10-minute video or something, I mean, that just objectively means your video is not holding people. Like there's something about the videos that you're making that are not good. And in this case, you should consider this a blessing, actually, that you don't have a bunch of subscribers. And the reason for this is if you let's say you make one video and it goes viral and you get a ton of subscribers, but it was kind of an accident. Like for some reason you made a good video and then all the other times your videos aren't that good. This is actually going to be terrible for you because what's going to end up happening is subscriber burn. Your channel is going to look really unhealthy to YouTube. You're going to, let's say you go from 5 to 10,000 subscribers overnight, and then you release 5 more videos, and all of those videos have very bad audience retention. YouTube, it's going to be harder for you to climb out of that hole now because you didn't learn your lesson here. You didn't look at the video that did well. You didn't look at its data or figure out what it was that worked with it, and then try to recreate it in other videos in kind of like new, exciting ways. You just kind of kept going back to your old habits, and that's just going to tell YouTube that your channel is not very popular. Your subscriber to view ratio is going to be bad. So embrace the fact that you don't have an audience if your audience retention is overall low, because this means that when you finally figure it out, you're not going to have to climb out of this hole of having way too many subscribers and bad views. So be patient. I know it's kind of old man advice, but be patient and kind of embrace where you are, and maybe think of it as just, this is part of the journey. This is the filtration mechanism. And when you really hone in on your confidence and your style, that's when your views are going to pick up. Your view to subscriber ratio is going to be better, even when you start gaining lots of subscribers.
Yeah, and the thing too, like for me, like in this video, when it went live and after it's been, 5 days or whatever, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's a solid video. Like for the demographic that I'm trying to hit, I'm like, I know it's okay at least. And, the thing is like what I keep telling myself is just, do your best, create good videos, put them out there and build your library. Build your library. That's kind of the message that all small YouTubers need to know. Build your library. Don't worry about the views. Build a library, because potentially, and this is what I'm hoping happens, is a year from now, my library is much bigger. Some video does catch on. And then now my backlog starts to kind of, my view durations start to go up because the algorithm's actually finding the right people for my video. I mean, 300 impressions, right? Maybe the algorithm went and put this video in front of, some of the wrong people because there's just not enough videos on my channel. I haven't got enough views yet. There's not enough data for the algorithm to show it to the right people. But eventually, when there is enough data and I have enough videos, this video can take off. And that happens. And that's how these people do make that exponential growth, is like a video from a year and a half ago, all of a sudden, was 100 views. And now all of a sudden it's getting, 500 views a day because, it is a good video, but it just never really got the chance because it wasn't shown to the right people because the algorithm wasn't really ready yet. You've seen that happen before?
Yeah, I feel like with like when Treesicle was small, it felt like there was a lot of videos that my videos would get promoted on, and then people wouldn't be clicking on it. But then you look at the title of the video, and it's a video about Samus from Metroid that I made, and then it's being promoted on like top 10 fish oil supplements that I recommend. It's like, what? There's no reason that you should promote that on that video, YouTube. And then finally, when I posted the video to Reddit or to wherever, and it kind of like bolstered the views on this video, then it felt like it started trying again. And eventually it started getting caught on videos that were actually relevant. So yeah, I think sometimes the sort of early attempts for the half-assed attempts by YouTube to promote your video in the early stages, it can just not work out well. But when you finally start getting that momentum, you're right. I think just by the shotgun approach of like, okay, the views seem to be good on this guy's channel now, so let's try to get him more views. YouTube will finally like promote you to a bunch of places and then start honing in on what works. So yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, and I was happy that I even saw some browse views and impressions and stuff, because that means that they did throw it up there on the homepage for at least some people. Maybe some of my 450 subscribers, maybe it popped up there. So that was good. That was a good sign at least. And I didn't promote it anywhere. I'm always a little bit nowadays sketched out to promote my videos on Reddit or to promote them on my Facebook and stuff, because like, for instance, let's say I just shared it on my Facebook. I know Facebook won't really show it to too many people, whatever. But let's say that my family, friends, those kind of people click on it that don't care about online businesses, and they, oh, look, Augie has a new video, I'm gonna click on it. They watch the first 5 seconds. They're not interested at all. They just want to kind of see what it looked like, and they click away. And then that would just kill my view duration. So I am a little scared, but I do think that at this point with 20 views, not a lot of impressions, not enough chances, that it wouldn't be a bad idea to share it on a Reddit, a Reddit thread about online business or something like that. And I don't know, it might be worth a shot. So
yeah,
I might try it.
I think that's good. Like when you're really tiny, then I think you just need some people watching your videos when you're super small to kind of overcome that hump of having 0 subscribers. But yeah, I agree. I think when you start getting like 50 subscribers, 100, even I guess 400, like it kind of depends on how many views you're actually getting. But overall, you don't want to depend on posting to forums and stuff because it's going to kill your view duration overall.
Yeah.
But it can also help you get that initial seed of attention. That is very helpful. For me, it was helpful with Treesicle. But yeah, you do have to be careful. You really do. And then, so from here, I'm kind of curious. So right now, you're kind of in the thick of it with your new personal brand channel, your VidChops channel. I'm curious about your experience as a smaller channel with Baller Bootcamp. We've talked about kind of the history of that channel, but I'm curious about the nitty gritty details of when you were smaller. Like, was it kind of an overnight thing, or did you feel like there was kind of discrimination that you overcame from the YouTube algorithm, or was it pretty straightforward in growing? Maybe it was easier to grow back when you were first making it.
Yeah, I think it definitely was easier back then. Like I've mentioned before, back then view velocity was a big thing, which is just basically getting a lot of views initially when you upload your video. I guess that back then kind of told the algorithm, oh, this is a popular video. Look at a bunch of people are viewing it. And I actually owned a lot of Facebook fan pages back then. I owned, 100,000 followers, 250,000 followers on maybe 2 or 3 fan pages on Facebook. And these were all basketball related pages. And I would share my YouTube videos through there. I would get a ton of view velocity and my videos would rank pretty well. Back then, Browse, the algorithm wasn't pushing them out as much. All my videos were all SEO plays. So I was getting ranked for how to do a crossover in basketball, how to shoot a basketball, stuff like that. So I didn't go through the early stages of like tough times. Like I grew pretty quick and there wasn't a lot of competition. I would say there's probably 1 or 2 other people on the entire YouTube platform that were creating basketball training videos similar to mine. Think about that. There was 3 or 4 total people on YouTube creating basketball training tutorials. I mean, there was a lot of people uploading workouts and stuff, but at this point, my videos were, what's up guys, Augie Johnston here, ballerbootcamp.com. In today's video, and I'm just talking to the camera, like a lot of other people weren't doing that yet. They were just kind of like, all of a sudden there'd be some background music and some guy doing a basketball drill, maybe a voiceover, some text on the screen, 50 crossovers, then you take a shot, stuff like that. And I was the guy kind of having a YouTube style. There's a couple other guys, like I said, out there doing it. But I think it was just perfect timing for that. I had the fan pages that helped a lot. And I don't know, I was hustling really hard. Like I was sharing my stuff everywhere. I was spamming. I was even running ads. I was doing anything I could to grow it. So I didn't have the typical slow start. So yeah, there's that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. With Treesicle, we did have a slow start. So the first 3 months we were making Let's Play videos, which for those who don't know, it's like you record yourself playing a video game and you kind of give commentary while you're playing it. And this is a super oversaturated genre, we can call it, on YouTube. Even back then in 2014, even back then, there was so many people already doing this that I think it was just too hard to blow up in that space. It was too hard to even get a decent sized audience in that space. And I mean, now it's even harder. So this is kind of my next piece of advice is if you're a smaller channel and you've been posting for a long time and you feel like you're making a lot of videos and they're good and even the audience retention is confirming that your videos are good, but you're still not getting enough attention that you deserve, maybe you're in a space that is way too oversaturated, and maybe you need to tweak what you're doing. So, with Let's Plays, that's a gaming thing, right? So it's video games, and we still, like me and my team, we still wanted to make video game videos. So instead, we switched to scripted content. Like I wrote the first scripts, did the voiceover, editing, and it was a much more refined video, and it was much different than what most people were doing on the platform at the time. There was like a lot of jokes and information about, this character that people didn't know, or it wasn't readily known, and it wasn't all kind of packaged in the way that I was presenting it, and that made a huge difference, and that's when the channel started doing well. So maybe you are in a subgenre of a space that is just oversaturated, and you're trying to do the same thing that other people are already doing way better than you are. So maybe try something new, like totally new, but it's still, in my case, we stuck with video games, but we did it in a different way with, highly edited, scripted content. versus just kind of recording ourselves playing video games. So this is just a lesson that I learned the hard way, or maybe the easy way, by just pivoting and accepting what wasn't working and going with something new. I think some people, they're like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do forever. And, maybe this is just a chapter that you kind of need to move on from and try something new.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Like, basically, what format are you shooting in? What is your video format? And I've seen this with a lot of different channels. One of them is Colin and Samir. Colin and Samir, they talk about YouTube, and they just finally hit 1 million subscribers, but they've been doing this for a long time. And their format has changed a lot. And sometimes they were in their car talking about YouTube. Sometimes they were on a video call. They've done a lot of different formats, but it seems like the one that they've done lately has really worked well for them. And it's more like podcast style, kind of like where they're in a studio together and they're sitting there with, both, they have their microphones and they're talking about a topic, or they have a guest there with them talking about a topic. And this new format for them has proven to work. And, it helps when you get Mr. Beast on your channel and guys like that. And now they've actually started a new format, which I'm obsessed with, this new format or this new style that they're doing, where they're actually going around the US and mostly in LA and go into different YouTube studios. So they'll go into the studio with, what are the Mystical Morning guys? Rhett and Link. Yeah. So they have an episode where they go into their studio. Oh man. I recommend everybody Google that one real quick, because that is a huge production, and they just go around and they, interview those guys and see what it's like in there. And it's content that their entire demographic or subscribers would like, because they're talking about YouTube. This is, some of the biggest YouTubers they're breaking down. And yeah, they've just been finally kind of finding that winning format. And maybe for me, right, maybe my talking head talking about online business, I can continue to try that. If it doesn't work, maybe I should just switch up my format. Maybe I should start talking about business, as I'm walking around town, more vlog format. Maybe I should get business owners to come in and sit like a podcast, live podcast type format, and interview them and talk about online business. Maybe that's the best format. I don't know. But I think that was a great tip you just dropped for anybody that's struggling, no matter if you're big or small. Like, you don't need to necessarily switch up your topics and all that kind of stuff, but maybe just switching your format, it could be the key.
Right. And I think there may be some resistance on this, because people can get entrenched in a certain identity, or they like doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
And they maybe, if I just keep digging this way, then I'm going to hit gold eventually. They're almost worried that if they try something new, then they'll have kind of given up on the momentum that they already had going. And to that, I say, be careful thinking like that, because yes, you have a lot of momentum with doing videos a certain way, but keep in mind, even if you totally change up your style, you aren't actually giving up on what you were doing in the past there. What you're actually doing is you're learning from it. And you still have all of that experience you gained from making those types of videos within you. So for instance, with these Let's Play videos, I got more comfortable in front of a microphone. I got more able to, it's weird to kind of sit down in front of a camera or a microphone and say things. It's an acquired skill. And then I'd say recording a script in a room by yourself is even weirder than like sitting down with your friends and playing video games, right? I don't know if I could have done that if I hadn't spent 3 months playing video games in front of a microphone with my friends. It's like it gave me that little confidence boost and just enough experience to kind of try this new thing, this newer thing. So try to take what you've been doing and think about the things you've learned, and then see if you can apply that elsewhere. You've gained a lot of intangible skills by doing whatever it is you're doing, and apply those skills elsewhere. And that is my advice: is keep in mind what you've learned, not so much what you've been doing.
So what did you guys do with all those old videos? Did you leave them up or take them down?
We left them up. They're still there to this day. They're kind of a fun little time capsule. And we only had 37 subscribers from all that. And honestly, most of those were probably our friends and family, which, by the way, I do not recommend telling your friends and family to subscribe to you unless they're actually going to watch. It's just going to hurt you. But yeah, so we just left them up. I think it doesn't really matter. Like, if you decide to leave up an old style of video, I think it's fine to leave them up. But
yeah,
what do you think?
I agree that it's okay to leave them up because just one example that I thought of is Ryan Trahan, who is the guy who did the Penny series, where recently he blew up on YouTube every single day for 30 days. He uploaded a video. His goal was to start with 1 penny, travel across the US, and give a penny to Mr. Beast. And he could only fund the entire thing through trading. Basically, he traded a penny for, I can't remember how it started. Eventually, he got a water bottle, and then he sold it for like $2, and then he took the $2, and the rest is history. But anyways, on his channel, he has like a whole bunch of old videos of him, like, because he was like a really good track athlete growing up, of him just running, like, all right, I'm going to go for a run today, guys. It's like a little vlog, and then he's running on the track, time lapse, and then the video's over, and it's just like not a good YouTube video. And he's got a lot of those, like a lot. And he left them up, and that did not affect his channel at all. He's definitely triggered the algorithm, and he's one of the best creators of 2022, definitely. So I think it's okay to leave them up. I mean, there is a part of me that says like, well, what if somebody, one of your loyal subscribers clicks on that video? They're not going to watch it. They're going to click away, and it's going to hurt your average view duration. But I think like for a guy like him, it just doesn't matter. If somebody clicks on a track video and watches 5 seconds and clicks away, like it's like a drop in the bucket because he's getting 100 million views. So it's not even going to like lower his average enough. I guess maybe if you only had like maybe 10 videos and 9 of them are you running on a track, and the 10th one you're talking about online business, then I would say, yeah, those could hurt you. Kind of like what you were talking about earlier with having multiple videos. Because if somebody does like that video and they click on your channel and they want to binge, and all of a sudden they go to and find the track videos, that could hurt you. Kind of like you were saying, if there's no other videos when they get to your channel. But that's just speculation. I would say leave them up, and you're, as long as you have enough videos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess if you're like going with your example, you have 9 videos of kind of whatever, and then your 10th video is something that got more attention and is of a much different style and topic. Let's say, that video got 100 views and all of your other videos have like 1 or 0 views. That's a small enough success to where it could make sense to take them down. With Treesicle, I think this new style of video that we're making got so much attention that, as you said, it was a drop in the bucket. It was a drop in the ocean. So it didn't really matter. So it kind of depends on your particular situation. If you have an emotional attachment to these videos, then I don't know, maybe you leave them up. It really depends. I'd say if your new style of video is succeeding time and time again, then I wouldn't worry about it. I would just leave them up. You don't have to be too picky.
Yeah, I agree. One other little piece of advice that kind of popped into my head is, if you are a small creator and you're not seeing traction, like consider maybe niching down. And I've been thinking about this with my own personal channel as well, because competing as the online business guy is pretty hard. There's a lot of people doing that. I'm competing with Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm competing with, Grant Cardone, I guess, in some ways, like these big names, right? But if I could just niche down, then my competition it's smaller, right? So that's a good tip, I think, for a small YouTuber. Maybe I could, make a YouTube channel about how to start productized services, which is what VidChops is, right? It's a service. We take it, we productize it into a product. And I have success with that. So maybe that's my niche. Maybe that's where I should start. And then once I start to see some traction, or whatever you're doing, once you start to see traction in this small niche, then you can kind of go more broad, more general, because you do want to create content that YouTube can promote to more people. Because if you're super niche in what you do at all times, forever and ever, then there's never really an opportunity for a video to really get big because YouTube can't put it in front of enough people, right? So that's kind of a down the road type tip. Once you kind of start to see traction, maybe start going a little bit broader, and hopefully you can see some success there.
So just to be clear, you're recommending people go more broad, not less broad, if they're a small channel and they're not seeing success.
No, I'm saying niche down to start until you see success. So really refine what you're teaching. So go small, niche down small to a very detailed topic. Once you start becoming maybe the category leader in that topic, then you can start going broad and maybe finally get that big video to get, 10,000 views, 100,000 views. But until then, I think you're kind of looking to be able to get promoted to people that just specifically are looking for, my example, productized services. I could definitely be the category leader in there if I, create 100 videos about productized services. But if I create 100 videos about online businesses, well, I'm making it harder on myself, I feel like. As a small creator. Yeah, as a small creator.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's you want to find that niche that's going to get you noticed, and then kind of go from there. So yeah, I like it. I agree. And yeah, with that, unless you have any other advice, I think we can kind of summarize what we talked about and wrap it up here.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So yeah, just to be clear, the answer, does YouTube discriminate against smaller channels? Clearly the answer is yes. This has something to do with paranoia and just raw numbers here. Smaller channels don't have as much momentum and it's harder for them to get noticed. We shared our experiences as smaller creators and the difficulty of getting noticed initially. As far as how to deal with this, you can make YouTube shorts. And, the idea here, if somebody watches your shorts, then your long form content is more likely to get promoted. Another thing, embrace that very few people are watching you. This is a blessing, especially if your audience retention is not very good. That means your content is probably not very good. And you don't want to blow up until you've kind of refined yourself to a certain extent. And embrace the struggle is really the advice here. And then, maybe you're in a very oversaturated medium. Try changing it up. Go with a totally different style and do something that makes you stand out instead of trying to be something that is already there and that is already working for other people. And then, of course, niche down. Find a space that works for you. And that is, it's narrow enough to where you can just kind of just make a lot of content on it and then broaden from there. And with that, I think that's the summary, huh, Augie?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. If you are a small creator, build your library, keep making videos. Everyone make it a little bit better than the last one, and just stay positive. In time, you will have success.
Indeed. And with that, that's a wrap. Don't forget, this is sponsored by VidChops.com. Check it out. Take the burden of editing off your back. Stop doing all this work. And we hope you got something out of this. I know I did. I feel like I learned a little something new from all of these episodes. And I love it. I hope you did too. And we'll see you in the next one.